let's go across and welcome in our guest now. We've got with us Rizwan Khan, Senior Technical and Derivative Analyst of Aditya Birla Money, joining us from Mumbai. And we've got Saurabh Jain, Head of Fundamental Retail Equity, joining us from SMC Global Securities Limited from Delhi. Thanks, gentlemen, for joining us this evening on NDTV Profit. Just before we take up all those queries, Saurabh, I just want to get a sense of you from what are you making of the markets right now? We started the day with the markets getting spooked on those India-Mauritius talks getting restarted, pretty much followed by technical sell-off, and then, of course, the split shares issues caught up with what was going on. Of course, markets failed to take heed to whatever came in from the finance industry, and we just went one way, which was on the way down. What are you making of the markets right now? Would you start nibbling at this point in time or still avoid the broader markets?
See, if you see market as a whole, there is lot bit negative news on the market side. If you see IIP number, the growth prospects and the successive interest rate hike by the RBI, investors are getting very conscious about the growth which is for the future. The numbers are suggesting that the buyers purchasing powers have gone, and corporate margins are going to be hit. And now this news has come on top of it. Markets are now quite nervous, and any bit of negative news can grip the markets in the negative way, and this is what we have seen today. So I guess the market would continue to behave like this, and investors should keep their finger crossed and should take informed decision.
Rizwan, it was pretty much a technical breakdown as well. I mean, we tried to stay that 5,300 mark around midday, but pretty much failed at those levels, came back to about 50 to 57 to shut shop at. And it was a huge volume sell-off as well, right? So technically, what are you making of it right now?
See, 5330 was a major level. 5330 was breached, and at the same time when 5330 was breached in the market in the morning, the news came in about that Mauritius treaty. So basically it was a combination of technical and fundamental factor which led to the market breakdown. Now what's happening at 5330, what is happening now, Nifty has breached its two of a major pivotal point. At 5350, a long-term channel was converging with a head and shoulder neckline. So when two of this pattern converge at the one point of time, it suggests that perhaps the market has now resumed its medium-term downtrend. And as long as 5350 holds on the upside, the trend will continue to stay down, and perhaps we can see level closer towards 5100 levels can be possibly seen in the market.
Okay, well, the downside pretty much looks pretty open for now. 5100 odd levels, like Rizwan said, could be seen. Well, let's go across to our first caller now. We've got this Deepa who calls in from Chennai. Hi Deepa, what's your question?
Hello. Yeah, thank you so much. See, my husband bought this HUL share at the price 25 rupees at almost 10 years back. Right now you want me to sell or just keep it? You want me to wait for this thing? Right now the price is 323.
Deepa, are you in need of the money by any chance, or are you happy to hold it if you have to? Because the stock's given you fantastic returns, right? You can hold. Saurabh, I mean, HUL is one sort of a counter which pretty much was a rare gainer in trade today as well. But just to talk about it broadly speaking, it performs one quarter, disappoints on another. So it's more or less doing well quarter on quarter. But of course, they've got the rural story going for them. In the next year or so, or within the next couple of months to election, the government is also going to pump in quite a bit of money into the rural economy. So there is clearly no doubt in our minds that the counters like HUL or Dabur, for that matter, are pretty much going to ride the rally.
Yeah, I mean, this time the good news is monsoon is back, and there is an expectation of good normal monsoon, which would help companies like HUL to increase more rural penetration. Furthermore, the main concern is rising input cost and low volume growth. In the last quarter, what we have seen that all the FMCGs company have also lowered their ad spends, and now they are focusing on more on price hike because of the serious input pressures they are seeing in. Latestly we have seen HUL increase the prices of its shampoo, its main brand Dove, and the company has also increased the prices of some of the detergent pack. So I think the company is going to showcase a good number because the increase has been passed in this quarter, and again we'll see good earning season for the company. So my sense is this is the time when FMCG stories are still intact and people are betting upon it because of the concerns on the other side of the market. I think it makes sense to hold on to the counter.
Well, that's a hole coming in on HUL. Deepa, Rizwan, what do you make of this one technically? I don't think there are any worries here.
There are no worries, but the only thing is at 321, 323 level, it's trading to its towards very close to its all-time high. So as an investor, is a low-risk investor, the ideal strategy should be she should be booking some profit over here, and perhaps for the rest of the position, the stop loss comes somewhere closer towards 270. So book some profit over here, and for the balance position, keep a stop loss at 270. Once it breaks above 325, it will again to get into all-time new orbit, and perhaps can excel from there. So I advise is book some profit, and for the balance position hold with a stop loss of 270.
Right, book partial profits and hold the rest with a stop loss of 270. That's Rizwan's advice coming in on HUL. Well, next up we've got with us another caller joining us. In fact, Jasbir Singh calls in from Delhi. Hi Jasbir, what's your question?
Hello madam. Hello. Hello.
Jasbir? Yes, what's your question?
मैडम मेरे पास अपना विजय बैंक के 5,000 पड़े हुए शेयर जिसकी 72 पे एवरेज आ रही है और मेरे पास पहले बैंक ऑफ महाराष्ट्र के पड़े थे। आपके टीवी से मैंने उसमें सलाह ली थी, आपने कहा इसको सेल करके विजय बैंक में एंट्री कर लीजिए और विजय बैंक में एंट्री करी मैडम, यहाँ से भी घाटा हो रहा है। अब बताओ क्या करें मैडम, इस काम मार्केट में करें या ना करें?
ठीक है जसबीर, हम आपको बताते हैं अब क्या कर सकते हैं। Rizwan, you heard Jasbir's query, right? I mean, he's put money in this counter. He's not made too much. The stock, obviously, in the last 3 months, even the last 1 month, has looked extremely weak. There doesn't seem to be any signs of a clear reversal coming anytime soon. What is your advice? Should he just exit and stay put, or stay put on the counter and just hope that the tide turns for him soon?
See, the investor time horizon is 3 to 4 months, so basically it's a very limited time horizon, and perhaps what is visible within the banking space, that there can be perhaps one pullback in the banking space, and Vijaya Bank, since one of a bank, the ideal outlook is that it can revisit level closer to 70, 73 levels. So perhaps his entry level will be there. Once he gets a level somewhere closer to 70 and 73, he should perhaps exit the stock, and he should not make any fresh investment in the stock. Perhaps this will resume its downtrends once 64 levels is breached. So as long as 64 holds, 64, 63 holds, one more rise towards 70 is possible. At those levels, he should exit from the positions.
जसबीर, स्टॉक आप पकड़ के रखिए 64 रुपीस के स्टॉप लॉस के साथ और 70 के आसपास एग्जिट कर देना, वो रिजवान का एडवाइस है विजया बैंक के ऊपर। सौरभ, विजया बैंक, I mean, I know the management is very optimistic of the kind of growth that they're looking at going ahead. I mean, they've talked about numbers like 20-odd%. But of course, banking stocks have really not managed to do very well post the Reserve Bank of India's previous rate hike. I mean, we've not really managed to claw back. The recent rate hike as well has not been taken too well by these counters. Couple of downgrades have as well come in on Vijaya Bank, right? What do you do with this counter? Is it a stock you'd hold on to, or provisioning is something that would catch up with these guys soon?
I think the main concerns which have come up is, the bank is funding its loan growth with the short-term deposits. Its non-core deposits comprise of commercial deposits constitutes 40% of the total deposit, and this is the main concern which is coming in for the bank. The bank have raised too far money if you compare with the average of the other PSUs, which ranges from 15 to 20%. This is the reason why NIM are also lower than other comparable PSU banks. So this is the main concerns which may continue to linger on the bank, and it would get away with the time passing by. It may take another 1 year to 2 years for the bank to restructure its all of the deposit portfolio. So my sense is maybe if he wishes, he can switch on to some other PSU bank like Allahabad or Indian Overseas.
जसबीर, एक और स्विच की एडवाइस आ रही है। आपने पता है हमें कि बैंक ऑफ महाराष्ट्र से विजया बैंक लिया, विजया बैंक से इलाहाबाद बैंक की एडवाइस आ रही है, तो आप देखो 70 odd रुपीस के पास ये एग्जिट करके आप दूसरे सॉर्ट ऑफ PSU बैंक्स को देख सकते हो। Well, let's go across to Ramchandra now, who calls in from Mysore. Hi Ramchandra, what's your question?
I am holding 1,000 shares of Satyam, bought at the rate of 120 rupees. I have some queries on Satyam. How long I have to hold to get at least principal? Maybe I can hold maximum of 6 months. And when the most stock merger process to happen, if so, is Satyam shareholders to be benefited? So I would like to know the future prospects of the company and the stock.
Saurabh, Mahindra Satyam, I mean, we just talked about how earlier on most people would possibly be optimistic on the IT pack on back of defensive play, but we've had a report coming in from CLSA where they've clearly downgraded the sector. They've got no buy calls coming in from the IT pack. Have talked about how a 20% revenue is not even likely, growth in revenue is likely going into the next couple of years. And of course, margin pressures is something else that will continue to weigh on the sector on back of visa issues as well. What do you do with the Mahindra Satyam right now? Is it a stock you'd hold on to? Because I know it's got a completely different sort of triggers that play out. But then again, what does one do?
See, people are betting on Satyam on basically a lot of expectation from the company. Recently, the company managed to bag 200 million order, and which is expected to yield good results in the coming quarters, and which would start coming in, I think, from the next quarter itself. Further, the improvement in the EBITDA margin, which came 13% last quarter compared to 6% in the third quarter, has given a lot of optimism to the investors on Satyam. Since the stock is performing well in the market, and his acquisition price is close to 120, my sense is he may wait for a while to get his price back.
Rizwan, technically, what is it that you make of this one? It's done okay the last 3 months, but I think suddenly this pressure coming back on that counter. Of course, today's sell-off was only the start of the mess, right?
There is a problem in the overall IT space. If you see the IT index has given a very large breakdown, but only two counters which stands out are Tech Mahindra and Mahindra Satyam, both from the same family. So ideal strategy for Mahindra Satyam will be, as long as Mahindra Satyam stays above 72 level, the investor should hold on to its position. As long as 72 level holds, the trend for stocks continues to be on the uptrend. Once that is reached, perhaps then can be some problem for Mahindra Satyam, but as long as 72 holds, he should hold on to its positions.
Well, that's the call coming in on Mahindra Satyam. Next up, we've got the Satish Kumar, who calls it from Bangalore. Hi, Satish. What's your question?
My question is, I wanted to see if I can buy into this JP Power Ventures. Is it a good buy? And I'm looking at holding to nearly 2 to 3 years. And in general, how is this power sector doing?
Right, JP Ventures, Rizwan, again, very disappointing. I'm not even sure why this investor wants to buy this counter at the current market price, but then again, your call on this one.
The good thing about this investor is that he is looking from a long-term perspective. He is looking from 2 to 3 years perspective. The trend for the stock continues to stay down, but since he is looking for a 2 to 3 years perspective, the ideal strategy, he should be buying in tranches. It's trading at somewhere closer to 47, 48 level, but he should be buying in tranches. When I say buying in tranches means he should make sure that he should not investing 100% of his equity at one go. So he can buy it right now and perhaps and buy some more and do averaging, and the support for the stock lies somewhere closer to 1436 levels. So it can come down towards 1436 level, and those are the levels where he should go and average the stocks. Since he is buying from a 3-year perspective and his risk appetite is high, he can perhaps go and venture into this stock.
Well, you could start nibbling on JP Ventures. That's the advice coming in. So just do a staggered sort of buying, and since you are a long-term investor on JP Ventures, fundamentally, Saurabh, is this a stock that you'd actually invest in for the next couple of years? I'm not sure whether there's been too much news or the kind of space it operates in. Yes, there's a long-term story, but I guess there are better names out there, right? Why JP Ventures?
I mean, if you see utilities, they are actually not performing on the bourses, and normally in the interest rate rising scenario, utilities do not perform. My sense is looking for the idea in utility would not prove to be such a good idea, and ultimately, seeing other spaces like banking would be more beneficial. Further, if you look at the company, recently the company has got shareholder and creditor approval for the merger of its 2 subsidiaries, upon which the company would have total power of around 40 to 50 megawatt, out of which 50% is expected to be operational by March 2012. But since I am not too optimistic about the space as far as company is concerned, my advice would be to avoid it.
JP Power Ventures is an avoid coming in from Saurabh. So fundamentally avoid it technically, though it doesn't look so bad.